This is the story of the airplane that was supposed to change the game. The Airbus A318, known as the baby bus, promised to bring Airbus reliability to smaller, thinner routes while fitting into airports that couldn't handle bigger jets. But while the A320, 319, and 321 took over the skies, the A318 quietly slipped away. Meanwhile, Boeing's 737-700 was busy winning over airlines with lower costs and dependable performance, filling the gap the A318 hoped to claim. In this video, we look at why the baby bus struggled to find its place, how Boeing's 737-700 outperformed it, and what this meant for airlines trying to balance efficiency with capacity. This is a story about ambitions, market realities, and why some jets take off while others stay parked. When Airbus rolled out the A320 in 1987 and launched it into service in 1988, it was more than just another plane in the sky. This aircraft, with its advanced fly-by-wire technology, side-stick controls, and efficient design, began transforming the short to medium-haul market. Over time, the family expanded to include the A318, 320, 321, and eventually the A318. Each tailored to different passenger capacities and ranges while maintaining the core design advantages that made the A320 family popular among airlines. The idea for developing a smaller craft came with the demand of 100-seat passenger planes. This led Airbus to develop the baby bus, officially known as the A318. According to an article by Airways magazine, Airbus designed this aircraft to target the 100-seat segment, hoping to attract carriers flying into airports with operational challenges, such as London City Airport, which demanded performance and short field capacity. At the time, Boeing's 737 family, particularly the 737-600 and 700, dominated the single-aisle short-to-medium-haul market in the United States and beyond. Airbus launched the A318 to directly compete with this segment, offering airlines a product to go head-to-head with Boeing's offerings. The A318 aimed to bring the same cockpit commonality and operational efficiency Airbus was known for into a smaller airframe, providing airlines flexibility within their existing Airbus fleets. Initially announced as the A319 M5 in 1998, the A318 was formally launched in April 1999 after Airbus secured 109 orders and commitments, signaling market interest in this smaller variant. The A318 took its maiden flight in January 2002, equipped with Pratt & Whitney PW6000 engines, followed by a flight with CFM56-5 engines in August of the same year. According to Flight Global reports, the aircraft received its JAA certification in May 2003, and the first deliveries commenced in July 2003 to Frontier Airlines, marking the official entry of the baby bus into commercial service. This was Airbus's confident step to capture the lower capacity market with a reliable and familiar platform. Little did they know, the real challenge would be convincing US airlines that the A318 was the aircraft they truly needed. In 1993, Boeing launched its next-generation NG program to keep the 737 relevant in the face of growing competition from the Airbus A320. The NG series promised better range, improved fuel efficiency, and a modernized flight deck, ensuring the 737 could compete in the evolving single-aisle market. The 737-700, a central piece of this program, was designed to mirror the size of the 737-300, but with significant improvements that airlines needed for the next decade of operations. Before we reveal how Boeing took advantage of the situation, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It'll certainly motivate us to keep coming back with more amazing stories from the world of aviation. Southwest Airlines placed the launch order for 63 737-700 aircraft in November 1993, showing early confidence in Boeing's updated design. By December 1997, Southwest had taken delivery of its first 737-700, marking the type's entry into service. According to Flight Global, Boeing's 737-700 had a consistent pricing advantage over competitors like the Airbus A319, partly due to lower production costs and the strength of the US dollar against the euro during the time. Boeing's flexible pricing, including targeted discounts for customers operating Airbus fleets, allowed the manufacturer to aggressively secure orders in a fiercely competitive market. US airlines embraced the 737-700 for its reliable and versatile performance across short to medium haul routes. Whether operating short domestic hops or transcontinental flights, the 737-700 proved itself a cost-efficient, dependable option for major carriers and low-cost airlines alike. Its fuel efficiency and lower maintenance costs offered tangible operating economics, making it a natural fit for airlines looking to optimize fleet performance without compromising route flexibility. Southwest wasn't the only airline to bet on Boeing's 737-700. Continental Airlines became a launch customer, receiving its first deliveries in 1998, and by March of that year, the type had joined their active fleet. According to Boeing delivery data cited by Airways magazine, the 100th next-generation 737 was delivered to Continental by July 2001, reflecting the rapid adoption of the type. Delta Airlines, while initially focused on the 737-800, shifted attention to the 700 in the late 90s. However, orders were never placed directly until the merger happened with Northwest Airlines in 2008, so the deliveries began in August '08. Delta found the 737-700 to be a strategic match for longer, thinner domestic routes and for expanding service into Latin America and the Caribbean, where its efficiency and range could be fully utilized. Boeing's 737-700 cemented itself as a cornerstone of U.S. airline fleets, balancing operating economics with the flexibility needed in a rapidly changing aviation market. When it comes to seating capacity, the Boeing 737-700 outclasses the Airbus A318 by a comfortable margin. While the A318 offers 107 to 132 seats depending on layout, the 737-700 accommodates 126 to 149 passengers, giving airlines the flexibility to maximize revenue per flight. This higher capacity is a key factor in the 737-700's lower cost per seat, even though the A318's overall hourly operating costs are lower. In terms of range and fuel efficiency, the A318's lower passenger count makes its per-seat costs higher, despite having hourly operating costs around $3,500 to $4,000 per hour. Additionally, CASM, cost per available seat mile, was another major defining factor for most airlines. The A318's CASM was closer to 15 to 16.5 cents, while the 737-700 is typically around 10.5 to 12.5 cents. Thus, Boeing's advantage in passenger capacity gives it an operational edge. Thus, commercial airlines focused on maximizing seat mile profitability chose the Boeing 737-700 over the Airbus A318. The A318 can be powered by either CFM56-5B or Pratt & Whitney PW6000 engines, giving some flexibility but also complexity in maintenance planning. In contrast, the 737-700 sticks to the CFM56-7 engines, creating consistency in operations and simplifying fleet maintenance, particularly for airlines with larger 737 fleets. There were also major differences in the cockpit of the two aircraft. The A318, with its fly-by-wire system and side-stick controls, aligns with Airbus's vision of advanced automation, making transitions within the A320 family seamless for pilots. Meanwhile, the 737-700 retains a more traditional approach with a control column, providing a hands-on flying experience that many pilots appreciate. This difference isn't just about preference, it also impacts training costs and fleet standardization, with Airbus's shared cockpit design offering a clear advantage for airlines operating mixed fleets within the A320 family. However, on maintenance and parts, the Boeing 737-700's extensive global presence gives it a significant advantage. Parts are widely available through OEMs and aftermarket suppliers, and the mature infrastructure around the 737 family means predictive, data-driven maintenance strategies are well integrated into airline operations. While the A318 benefits from Airbus's maintenance network, its lower global fleet size makes sourcing parts and leveraging economies of scale more challenging, often leading to higher per-unit costs for maintenance and repairs. For airlines aiming to maximize profitability, the 737-700 offered a well-supported ecosystem that the A318 simply couldn't match. In the early 2000s, US airlines were still navigating the aftermath of deregulation, which had intensified competition while creating financial instability across the industry. Fares dropped as more airlines entered the market, but the period between 2000 and 2005 saw over $30 billion in industry losses, pushing major carriers like United, Delta, Northwest, and US Airways into bankruptcy. Many airlines leaned heavily into the hub-and-spoke model, concentrating flights through major hubs for efficiency, while service to smaller markets often declined. Meanwhile, low-cost carriers like Southwest were on the rise, aggressively challenging legacy airlines with point-to-point networks and simpler fleet strategies. This environment made airlines cautious about adding niche aircrafts like the A318 that could complicate maintenance and training. The 9/11 attacks further transformed fleet decisions, grounding all flights temporarily and leading to a sharp drop in travel demand. Security costs rose and airlines sought to cut expenses while pivoting towards smaller, fuel-efficient aircraft to handle uncertain demand. Yet, paradoxically, many carriers still preferred larger aircraft to lower cost per seat, especially on routes with stable demand, as flying larger jets less frequently could be cheaper than operating smaller planes with higher frequency. Additionally, regional jets, RJs, were evolving, becoming more capable and efficient, which made the A318 less attractive. Overall, the US market realities of the early 2000s pushed airlines to favor fleet simplification, cost efficiency, and flexibility, areas where the Boeing 737-700 excelled, while the A318 struggled to justify its place in American fleets. When it comes to actual sales, the Airbus 318 struggled to gain traction, particularly in the US market. Globally, only 80 orders were placed, with Frontier Airlines becoming a notable but rare American operator. In contrast, the Boeing 737-700 was a clear success, especially in the US market. It accumulated 1,130 orders with 1,128 deliveries, highlighting its market acceptance. Southwest Airlines, as the launch customer, integrated the 737-700 as a core fleet type starting in 1998, leveraging its operational economics across its extensive point-to-point network. United Airlines also adopted the 737-700 into its fleet, where it remains in service on key domestic and short-haul routes. Delta Airlines, while eventually retiring its 737-700s after 12 to 14 years of service, also expanded with the type during the 2000s to optimize its network during a period of restructuring. Frontier Airlines was initially enthusiastic about the Airbus A318, seeing it as a perfect fit for specific routes requiring a smaller jet while maintaining the operational benefits of the Airbus A320 family. Operationally, the A318 equipped with CFM56 engines initially offered fuel and maintenance savings compared to Frontier's older Boeing fleet. Therefore, moving to an all-Airbus fleet from its previous Boeing 737s, Frontier viewed the A318 as a natural step in simplifying its operations. However, real-world economics soon revealed challenges. The A318's smaller size meant it needed to operate near full capacity to remain profitable, leaving it exposed to demand fluctuations. While the aircraft was designed for operations at constrained airports, this niche capability limited broader route flexibility for Frontier. Additionally, engine challenges, including early issues with the Pratt & Whitney PW6000, led airlines like Frontier to pivot to the CFM56 option, adding complexity to fleet management. Compared to the A319, the 318 carried 15% fewer passengers while burning only around 5% less fuel, making its CASM worse than its larger sibling. Ultimately, Frontier decided to phase out and sell its A318 fleet, finding that the aircraft no longer aligned with its business needs. The Airbus 318 struggled to align with US airline strategies due to its high cost per available seat mile (CASM), operational inefficiencies, and awkward market positioning. This meant airlines needed near full loads to justify its operation, a challenge in an already uncertain market. Cargo operations were another limitation, as the A318 couldn't accommodate standard unit load devices (ULDs), reducing cargo efficiency as busy US airports where quick turnaround and belly cargo revenue are critical. Slot restrictions further exposed the A318's inefficiencies. At slot-controlled airports like JFK, using a smaller aircraft for a highly valuable slot was economically inefficient when larger aircraft could move significantly more passengers per slot. The British Airways London City to New York JFK route, utilizing an A318 in a 32-seat all-business configuration, showcased the aircraft's niche value for steep approaches, but highlighted its limitations in maximizing slot utility. The A318's market misfit is summarized as being too big for regional, too small for mainline. Airlines increasingly favored larger jets for lower CASM and better slot utilization while using regional jets like the Embraer E-Jets and CRJ 700-900 for thinner routes. US airlines have historically maintained deep long-term partnerships with Boeing, driven by domestic trust, proven performance, and a robust service ecosystem. Airlines like Southwest have operated exclusively with Boeing fleets, while carriers like American and United maintain significant Boeing aircraft alongside Airbus models. Despite challenges such as the 737 MAX crisis, these relationships have endured, with American Airlines recently ordering 85 Boeing 737 MAX jets, reflecting continued confidence in Boeing's offerings. Through Boeing Commercial Aviation Services and Boeing Global Services, airlines gain lifecycle solutions covering spares, training, maintenance, and technical guidance for over 12,100 Boeing aircraft globally. Programs like the Component Service Program and the Tailored Parts Packages streamline maintenance operations, while tools such as the Parts Planning Hub enhance supply chain visibility and responsiveness. Boeing's global field representatives in over 100 countries, customer service centers, and partnerships with suppliers like Safran ensure airlines receive timely support, reducing downtime and operational disruptions. This extensive network not only strengthens operational confidence, but also provides aggressive pricing and support packages that make fleet planning and maintenance cost-effective for US carriers. As of 2025, Air France remains the only major airline actively operating the Airbus A318 on scheduled passenger flights, primarily using it on short-haul European routes from Paris Charles de Gaulle and Paris Orly to destinations like London Heathrow, Nice, and Marseille. However, even Air France is gradually phasing out the A318 in favor of the more fuel-efficient Airbus A220. While airlines like Tarom and British Airways once utilized the A318, they have retired these aircraft, and today most A318s serve niche roles in private and VIP configurations with operations such as BAA Jet Management and Alpha Star Aviation. Its pilot commonality between the A320 family and spacious cabin layout provided operational and passenger comfort benefits despite its limited size. In aviation history, the A318 stands as a unique chapter, an aircraft built for flexibility and specialized operations, but ultimately overshadowed by evolving airline economics and larger, more efficient aircraft. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into why the Airbus A318 didn't quite make it in the US, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming aviation breakdowns. We'd love to hear from you. Which aircraft do you think airlines misjudged the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's get the discussion going. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the latest videos from the world of aviation. Until then, keep your curiosity in the skies, and thanks again for joining us on this journey into aviation history.